The city hummed outside the penthouse window, Chicago's skyline a jagged silhouette against the dusk. Maya Williams stood frozen in the nursery, her arms cradling baby Lily, who cooed softly against her chest. The room smelled of lavender and fresh linens, but tension crackled like static. Nathaniel Blake stormed in, his tailored suit pristine, his face a mask of fury. "What are you doing?" he snapped, voice low but sharp enough to cut. "I told you, never hold her like that. You're the help, not her mother." Maya's breath hitched, her worn sneakers pressing harder into the hardwood floor. She'd been Lily's caretaker for 3 months, yet Nathaniel's words stung like a fresh wound. She lowered her eyes, not out of shame, but to hide the fire in them. "She was crying, sir," Maya said softly, rocking Lily gently. "She only settles when I hold her." Nathaniel's jaw tightened, but Lily's tiny hand curled around Maya's finger, and his eyes flickered. Something softer breaking through. Maya had known struggle her whole life. A single mother at 19, she'd raised her son, Jamal, in a cramped South Side apartment, where the radiator hissed more than it warmed. She'd taken this job to pay for Jamal's college, swallowing her pride to clean houses for people like Nathaniel, who lived in a world of glass towers and private chefs. But Lily, with her wide brown eyes and gummy smile, had become her heart's anchor. Every night, Maya sang her old lullabies her own mother once hummed, before abandonment left Maya to fend for herself. She'd lie on a blanket beside Lily's crib, the floor hard against her back, whispering, "You've got this, little one. We're tougher than we look." Nathaniel didn't know this. He didn't know she stayed past her shift, unpaid, because Lily wouldn't sleep without her. That evening, Nathaniel lingered in the doorway, his silhouette rigid. "Put her down," he ordered, but his voice wavered, less certain. Maya obeyed, tucking Lily into her crib with a tenderness that made Nathaniel's throat tighten. He'd been raising Lily alone since his wife's death a year ago, drowning in grief and boardroom battles. He didn't trust easily, especially not a maid who seemed too familiar with his daughter. Yet, as Maya stepped back, Lily whimpered, her tiny arms reaching for her. Maya hesitated, then met Nathaniel's gaze. "She needs me," she said simply, no defiance, just truth. Nathaniel's shoulders sagged, and for a moment, he looked less like a billionaire and more like a man lost at sea. Days turned into weeks, and the penthouse became a quiet battleground of glances and unspoken words. Nathaniel watched Maya more closely now, not with suspicion, but curiosity. He noticed how she braided Lily's curls with care, how she laughed softly when Lily babbled, like they shared a secret language. One night, he found Maya asleep on the nursery floor, her arm draped protectively near the crib. His chest ached, remembering his own mother's warmth, long gone. "Why do you do that?" he asked the next morning, catching her scrubbing dishes in the kitchen. Maya paused, sponge in hand, and smiled faintly. "Reminds me of when I used to sleep next to Jamal's crib. Kept the nightmares away." Nathaniel blinked, caught off guard by her honesty. "You don't have to," he said gruffly, but she just shrugged. "I want to." Their conversations grew, small at first, like seeds in cracked pavement. Nathaniel asked about Jamal, and Maya's face lit up, recounting how he'd won a scholarship to Northwestern. "Kid's smarter than me," she said, chuckling, "but don't tell him I said that." Nathaniel smirked, a rare crack in his armor. He started lingering after dinner, asking about her life, her dreams. Maya was cautious, her trust scarred by years of being unseen. But when Nathaniel apologized for his outburst that first night, his voice low and sincere, "I was wrong, Maya. I'm sorry." Something shifted. She nodded, her eyes softening. "It's okay to feel scared, Mr. Blake. Parenting's a wild ride." He laughed, a sound so foreign it startled them both. By month's end, Nathaniel found himself seeking Maya's presence, not just for Lily but for himself. He'd catch her humming in the nursery, her voice a balm to the chaos of his corporate world. One evening, as snow dusted Chicago's streets, he handed her a cup of coffee, their fingers brushing. "You're good with her," he said quietly. "Better than I am." Maya shook her head. You're learning, Mr. Blake. That's what matters. He wanted to say more, to ask why her eyes held such quiet strength, but Lily's giggle interrupted, and they both laughed, the sound weaving them closer. Maya wasn't just the help anymore. She was becoming indispensable, a truth Nathaniel wasn't ready to name. The Chicago wind howled outside Nathaniel's penthouse, but inside, a fragile warmth grew. Maya Williams moved through her days with quiet purpose, her hands folding Lily's tiny clothes, her voice soothing the baby to sleep. Nathaniel watched her now, not as an employer, but as someone unraveling a mystery. He'd built a tech empire, Grayson Enterprises, named after a family legacy he barely understood, but Maya's presence challenged his guarded world. She wasn't just a maid. She was a force, steady and unshakable, and it stirred something in him he'd long buried. One evening, as Maya chopped vegetables for Lily's puree, he leaned against the counter. "Why do you stay?" he asked, voice low. "This job, it's beneath you." Maya's knife paused, her eyes meeting his. "It's not about the job, Mr. Blake. It's about Lily. And maybe you." Her words hung, bold yet gentle, and Nathaniel's heart stuttered. He began confiding in her, first about small things, boardroom frustrations, a glitch in his latest app. Maya listened, her responses sharp yet kind, like she'd lived 100 lives. "Sounds like you're carrying the world," she said once, wiping down the counter. "Ever think about sharing the load?" Nathaniel scoffed, but her words lingered. He noticed her sacrifices. Late nights with Lily, skipping meals to finish chores. One day, he found her old phone, screen cracked, barely holding charge. Without a word, he left a new one on the kitchen counter, a post-it note reading, "For Jamal's calls." Maya's eyes glistened when she saw it, but she shook her head. "I can't take this." Nathaniel shrugged, a half-smile tugging at his lips. "Too late. It's yours." She laughed, a sound like sunlight breaking through clouds. Their bond deepened in quiet moments. One night, as Lily slept, Nathaniel found Maya in the living room, staring at a photo of Jamal. "He's graduating soon," she said, voice thick. "I wish I could give him more." Nathaniel sat beside her, closer than he'd dared before. "You've given him everything," he said. "I see in Lily too. You give everything." Maya's breath caught, her walls crumbling under his gaze. She told him about her past, her mother's abandonment, the years of scraping by, the fear she wasn't enough. Nathaniel listened, his hand brushing hers, a silent promise. "You're enough," he said softly. "More than enough." The air shifted, charged with something neither named. Nathaniel's world, though, wasn't all penthouse quiet. At Grayson Enterprises, whispers of corruption surfaced, executives skimming funds meant for community projects. Nathaniel, once blind to such betrayals, felt a new resolve. Maya's stories of struggle, of single mothers like her fighting to survive, lit a fire in him. He began sketching an app to connect single parents with resources, jobs, childcare, scholarships. Late one night, he showed Maya the prototype. "It's rough," he admitted, "but it's for people like you." Maya's eyes widened, scanning the screen. "This could change lives," she whispered. "You really mean it?" He nodded, her approval warming him more than any boardroom win. "I'm calling it Haven," he said, "because that's what you are for Lily." Maya's influence rippled. Nathaniel started coming home earlier, trading late meetings for story time with Lily. He fumbled at first, his deep voice awkward reading Goodnight Moon, but Maya's encouraging nod, "You've got this," kept him going. One evening, as they sat on the nursery floor, Lily between them, Maya teased, "Remember when Aunt Mabel tried to bake cookies at midnight and set off the smoke alarm?" Nathaniel chuckled, the memory of his quirky aunt easing his tension. "Yeah, and she blamed the dog." Their laughter mingled, a bridge over the class divide that once separated them. Maya's presence was reshaping him, not just as a father, but as a man who wanted to be better. Yet, Maya wrestled with her own doubts. Could she trust this man, this life? Her past taught her to guard her heart, but Nathaniel's actions, small, steady, sincere, chipped away at her defenses. When he offered her a raise, She hesitated, fearing it was pity. "It's not charity," he insisted, eyes earnest. "You're worth it." She accepted, but only after he agreed to let her lead a trial run of Haven's community outreach. Her ideas, workshops, mentorship programs, were sharp, grounded in lived experience. Nathaniel watched her pitch to his team, her voice steady despite her nerves, and felt pride swell. She wasn't just Lily's caretaker anymore. She was a partner, a spark he hadn't known he needed. By spring, Nathaniel faced a choice. Ignore the corruption in his company or confront it, risking his reputation. Maya's courage, her refusal to be invisible, pushed him forward. He confided in her one night, his voice raw. "I'm scared I'll lose everything." She touched his arm, her hand steady. "You won't lose what matters," she said. "Lily, me, we're here." Her words anchored him, and he knew then that this wasn't just about an app or a job. It was about building something real, something lasting with her. The Chicago skyline glittered below, but inside Grayson Enterprises' boardroom, the air was thick with tension. Maya Williams stood at the head of a polished table, her hands steady as she faced a room of suits. Nathaniel Grayson, his true surname now known to her, sat in the back, his eyes fixed on her with quiet pride. Maya's voice, once confined to lullabies for Lily, now carried the weight of truth. "Haven isn't just an app," she said, her gaze sweeping the executives. "It's a lifeline for single mothers like me who fought to be seen." She revealed evidence of the company's corruption, diverted funds meant for community aid, her words sharp, unwavering. The room fell silent, some faces paling, others nodding. Nathaniel's chest swelled. This was the woman who'd slept on his nursery floor, now commanding a corporate stage. Months earlier, Maya had hesitated to take the role Nathaniel offered, head of community development. "I'm no executive," she'd protested, her old insecurities flaring. But Nathaniel had knelt beside her as she played with Lily, his voice soft. "You're a leader, Maya. You've always been." She'd accepted, pouring her heart into Haven, shaping it into a beacon for families like hers. Now, her public stand wasn't just about the app, it was a reckoning. She called out the executives by name, her evidence airtight, gathered from late-night talks with whistleblowers she'd befriended in the company's lower ranks. "It's okay to feel scared," she told the board, echoing words she'd once said to Nathaniel. "But it's not okay to steal from those who need help most." The fallout was swift. 2 executives resigned, and Nathaniel, no longer the distant billionaire, led the charge to restructure. He leaned on Maya's insight, her lived experience guiding policy changes. Outside work, their bond deepened. One evening, as they walked through Millennium Park, Lily in a stroller, Nathaniel stopped under a canopy of lights. "I was wrong about you," he said, his voice raw. "You're not just saving Lily, you're saving me." Maya's heart raced, but she teased, "Took you long enough, Mr. Grayson." He laughed, the sound rich, and their hands brushed, lingering. It wasn't a declaration of love. Not yet, but it was a promise, one they both felt. Maya's past, though, still haunted her. Her mother, who'd left when Maya was 10, had reached out, a letter arriving at her new apartment. Nathaniel had insisted she move out of her cramped South Side place. The letter trembled in her hands, words of regret blurring through her tears. She hadn't wanted to face her, but Nathaniel's gentle nudge, "You've got this, Maya," gave her courage. At a quiet cafe, Maya met her mother, now frail, her eyes heavy with guilt. "I wasn't strong like you," her mother whispered. Maya's throat tightened, but she reached across the table, squeezing her hand. "We can start over," she said softly. The reconciliation wasn't perfect, but it was a step, a healing Maya hadn't known she needed. Back at the penthouse, their evenings became a ritual, Nathaniel reading to Lily, Maya humming nearby, their laughter blending like a family. One night, as snow fell outside, Lily toddled to Maya, calling her mama for the first time. Maya froze, tears spilling, and looked at Nathaniel, expecting jealousy. Instead, he smiled, his eyes glistening. "She's right," he said. "You are." That night, They sat closer, sharing stories of their own childhoods, Nathaniel's distant parents, Maya's lonely nights. Remember when Aunt Mabel swore she'd teach me to dance? Nathaniel chuckled, breaking the heaviness. Maya grinned. Bet she'd love to see you try now. Their shared laughter felt like home. Maya's advocacy grew louder. At a citywide conference, she spoke to hundreds, her story of rising from maid to leader sparking cheers. We don't need pity, she declared. We need systems that see us. Nathaniel, in the audience, clapped hardest, his daughter on his lap. The app launched successfully, connecting thousands to resources, and Maya became a voice for change, her face on local news. Yet, she remained grounded, tucking Lily in each night, whispering, "You're my heart, little one." Nathaniel watched, his own heart shifting. He wasn't just a father or CEO anymore. He was part of something bigger, something Maya had built. As spring bloomed, Nathaniel proposed a picnic in Grant Park, just the three of them, under a cherry blossom tree. He took Maya's hand, his voice steady. "I don't want this to end us, this family." Maya's breath caught, her past fears fading under his gaze. "Me neither," she whispered. They didn't need grand gestures. Their bond was in the quiet moments. Lily's giggles, shared coffee, late-night talks. Chicago's skyline stood witness as they embraced, Lily clapping between them, a family forged not by blood but by choice. Love isn't born from wealth or status. It grows in the quiet acts of care, like a lullaby sung on a nursery floor. Maya and Nathaniel's story reminds us that empathy can bridge divides, turning strangers into family. Be present, listen deeply, and don't fear vulnerability. It's where connection blooms. You've got this. Reach out, forgive, and build your own haven, one small step at a time. Share this story with friends, like the video, subscribe for more, and comment below. What lesson resonates with you? Let's keep this conversation alive.